recorders, and I wanted to talk to you about Project Pat and what the OG taught me when I first recorded with a major artist. And I want to share my testimony and my experience with Project Pat because I think as an independent artist, we learn a lot from examples. And we learn a lot once we actually go through it and we see how things really are and we really embrace the knowledge that someone gives us. If it was a good experience or a bad experience, it still was a experience, and that experience sometimes is priceless. Sometimes people will pay a unlimited amount for the right experience. So I wanted to share my experience that I had with Project Pat, and it was 2013 is when I first recorded with him on the thumbtack, the thumbnail in the photo. That was 2013. That's when I first recorded with him. It was with one of my homies named Boo from Mississippi. It was me and him. We actually drove down to Memphis and we met him at a Days Inn actually, and we recorded. We brought all the equipment there to record him inside of the room, and things went smooth. We had a great conversation. He did my delivery. He liked the concept of the song, and he knew not he where my homie Boo was from in Mississippi. He knew some of his people because he was locked up with some of his people. So he knew some of the people in the area. You know what I mean? So they had a good conversation, and he was just telling me. And I remember one thing he said to me. He said, "If you don't do you, somebody else will." He said, "Man, you got something. I hate to see somebody else with your beard and seeing you doing your thing." I was like, man, that was my guy. He said, because people are jacking stuff, man. He said, man, you got something, man. Just stay at it. Stay out the streets. You know what I mean? He could tell that, you know what I mean, at that time we still had our hand in the mud, you know what I mean? So he was like, man, just stay out the streets, man, and keep working with what you got. And, it's crazy because when we went to him with this record, we didn't know what we was doing. We were just, we from the hood, we street cats, you know what I mean? But we grew up, you know what I mean, listening to hip hop. I could actually, rap a little bit, you know what I mean? I was in prison. I was winning a lot of contests as rapping and networking with different people. So my guy, when we got out, because me and Boo was locked up together, we was like, hey man, we're gonna get some money. We're gonna mess with this music a little bit too, get a couple business going. And actually at that time, me and him we went in on a business together. We had like a detail shop slash studio slash photo studio where people was coming in getting their photos, professional photos took. We had a photo deal set up in the front, and a guy came in and did professional photos. And then in the middle we had a studio. We did tattoos and we did recordings, and then in the rear we did like the basic oil changes and fixing cars for the college because we was in a college community, and a lot of the college kids didn't have a lot of money, so we did a lot of little promotions for them to help them fix their little stuff to keep them on the road, while they still went to school. So it was a win-win. But we had a cool little deal going. Like I said, this was 2013. A lot of stuff had went on in my life at that time. I was actually I had got married and got divorced, like literally, y'all. Like so much was going on at that time. It's like literally, I got married and I didn't even get a chance to have a anniversary. Like we literally got an annulment. We probably stayed together married after we was married maybe 90 days. Like it was a sad thing, but it was a lot going on in my life. I lost my mom um, the year um, the year before, but really a few months before, because my mom died at the end of 2012. So it was a lot on my mind, a lot on my plate, and I was trying to really push, what I wanted to do. And I'm gonna tell you one of my first mistakes. I went and got a beat, and instead of me buying the beat because I didn't really understand the system, I went and got a beat, and it was a free beat actually, and it even had the tag in it, and I didn't understand what the tag meant neither. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to do something like a promotional song, something just to drop and just to promote. But knowing that when you do things like that, you want to own the beat. You don't want to lease a beat. If you just, especially if you're going to pay someone to get on the track, like if you're just going to do it for promo and you're freestyling over it and you're recording just to do a little promo, that's fine. But if you're gonna pay someone else to get on someone else's beat, you want to most definitely own the beat. And to me, I think being independent and giving away the music is okay if you own the music. You see what I'm saying? Because even if you're giving it away, you still can win and benefit from the music. But we don't know that in the beginning. So here I am with a tag beat that I didn't own, that was owned by somebody else. And we went in and we recorded. The song was cool. The song was actually called Changin Clothes by Black Feniks. That's BlackFeniks. You can check it out. It's on my Black Feniks YouTube page, and you can Google it. It should be on YouTube. It's called Changin Clothes. And that was my first song I did with him. And I believe we spent, he gave us a pretty much deal on that verse. He charged us $1,000 to do that verse on that track. And pretty much was average, good number. I would say, I think it was a good number, But he charged us $1,000 to do the track. He showed up, did his part, like literally, like he did his thing. We paid him. He was all about the money. Then we chopped it up. He wanted to know who gonna record, or we gonna, we got everything. So he did. That was professional. You know what I mean? But he didn't make me feel intimidated. And plus, we from the street, so we got our own aura. So he seen that we had our own aura. Wasn't nobody intimidated. Wasn't nobody heads down in the room. Everybody was like, we from the streets and we been getting money too, not from no rap level. You know what I mean? But we okay. You know what I mean? So we had a good conversation, and I remember him telling me, if I don't do me, someone else will. Probably not in specifically those exact words, but that's pretty much what he said. And I never forget it, man, because after we left, we had a good time. It was Memphis in May at the time, exactly. I mean, actually, it was May of 2013. It was Memphis in May. It was actually the beginning of it. It just started. So we rode around the city, smoked a little bit, drunk a little bit, and enjoyed the city. And we were just thinking about how time flies, getting out of cell and actually getting a chance to meet Pat and working on his career, working on his, music. And I had the business, and I was doing welding, but in the shop just a little bit. And I was, still welding, with the trade, but I wasn't working the job at all. I had a business going, you know what I mean? And it really wasn't prospering a lot, but we was keeping our head above the water with the business, you know what I mean? But, doing that, I learned that the first thing I learned that if you're going to invest money in a recording, especially if you're going to pay someone to feature on the track, make sure you own the track. We didn't own the track, so we lost that way. Even though we still got the track and it was cool to have, it was to say we got, we could say we got bragger rights or whatever. Oh yeah, I got a song with him, but I didn't own it, needless to say. So that was a big mistake of mine, not owning that record. But what I did do, I fell back, and later, a few years later, I ran across a producer named Epidemic, and who was part of the Deadbeats out of Carolina. And I ran across him due to a manager that I had at the time, and she hooked us up. Shout out to Crystal Blue Management. She hooked us up, and we actually made an EP and a single. And one of the singles actually to push the EP was actually a record called The Black Market, and it was featuring Project Pat and Scala Rain. And when I reached out to Pat the next time, he remembered me, from doing the business, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to mess with you." And he knew from the first time that the beat was tagged, you know what I mean? Because he even asked how you want to get on this beat. He even said a few things to kind of, let us know, but we didn't really know about the music. We were just riding the beat, wanted to promote. So needless to say, when I reached out the second time, a year or so later, probably like a couple years later, and I said, "Hey man, I got got a little situation. Let's try this and try it like this." And he jumped on the track again. And like I say, this track, we actually own the beat, own the lyrics. And I actually get royalties from that song and from the EP, actually. You know what I mean? It's tagged on my ASCAP. So that's another thing I had to learn about, getting my ASCAP or your BMI, whichever one you prefer. I got my ASCAP, and I had to get my writers and my publishers. You want to get both of them because your writers is cool, but you're gonna get your money from your publishings. I'm telling you, like literally, like I've been paying phone bills off my publishing, and I don't have a song on YouTube or on no platform as of now. I think that it got 1 million streams, so it got 1 million views, and I'm still making a little money. So I know if I get a record, they get 1 million views or get a lot of attention, I know I'm gonna be able to benefit. Or if one of my other records, and that's another thing because hip hop is funny, records are funny. Someone might get a hold of something that you had that you own, and you might have that record 7 years. I seen a guy that said he had this record 7, 8 years, and then it blew. So you can't say how long it might take for something to go, but you most definitely want to own it. So that's something that he taught me. And like I say, when we did the next record, he came through. We sent him the track. That time we didn't meet up. I just emailed the track. They emailed the track back. We did the mixing. Everything went good, and paid him. And like I say, that was my second experience with Pat. And hopefully, my third experience will be doing the video to that record. Because even though that record has been out a few years now, it's still a good record. And now I'm in a position to actually do something with the record, and I want to do some visuals to the record because I'm producing some more music too. So, as long as you own it, you can always benefit off you on it. Um, it's kind of like renewing something. You know what I mean? It's kind of like bringing it back up. Pushing it back up to surface, because if it's a good record, it'll live forever. And that's one good thing about great hip hop and about good hip hop records. Like a few of his albums that I love, like Getty Green and Mr. Don't Play. Like, check both of those albums out. If you young and you don't know nothing about some old school hip hop, go check out Getty Green and Mr. Don't Play. Mr. Don't Play is one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying? But check both of them out. And this guy, man, like I say, he was a big icon for me. So growing up in Arkansas, born in Little Rock, raised in Southeast, we grew up on Memphis. We grew up on 8 Ball and 666. We grew up on Player Fly. You know what I'm saying? We grew up on, that was like our backyard. That's something that we was literally could relate to because we was like that close. Like literally where I grew up in Arkansas in the Southeast area, we was probably no longer than 3 hours from Memphis, if that long, you know what I mean? Like the way you go, because we had to cut through Mississippi and get there. But it was pretty cool the way I was able to experience and hold a conversation with them and things I learned. So I kind of just wanted to share that with you, that when you're getting your music together, make sure you own it. If you just promote it, it's fine to just jump on a track. But I messed up on my first one that I spent money on because I didn't own the record. Couldn't tag it, couldn't do nothing. Now I still got it. It's just for promotional use, but I don't even have the lyrics. See, and that's another thing. If I would have kept the recording of his lyrics to that, I could have used it. I didn't do that. So it's all about learning what to do, building a team. And at that time, the team I thought I had, it fell apart. And I was kind of left holding the ball and the dream and the goal, because sometimes if you the force, if you're the drive behind something, once you're taken from the equation, things tend to kind of like just fall down. So I had to step back from the music industry, honestly, to kind of learn and embrace what I was doing and actually get some finances up and get my mind and my life in order to say, okay, I want to do this because I enjoyed the music, but my goal was to never get signed. I wanted to know how to do it, to really be independent. I wanted to get my own bag. Like I was, like Too Short and them. Like I grew up on them too. So I liked the way they was doing their independent thing. And I grew up on Master P, man, and the way he was doing his thing, and the way Jay Prince and them was doing their thing. So I wanted to say, man, I want to do my own thing with HogOn. You know what I mean? So when I created HogOn, I wanted everything that I made to be wrapped around HogOn, from HogOn Welding, from HogOn Promotions, from HogOn Records. You see what I'm saying? HogOn Fabrication, HogOn Containers. I wanted everything to be wrapped around who I was. So um, once I stepped back and I did that, man, it really just opened up my mind to the opportunities of what the music game is all about. And if you sit back and you listen to stories, even now, you hear different artists saying how they got took advantage of, how they trusted this and trusted that. And I didn't want to put and I'm glad that the way things happen for me, I never got a chance to experience that with the industry. I just got the chance to experience that with the people trying to get into the industry. You know what I mean? The A&Rs, the people that's the middlemans, the gatekeepers, so to speak. So I learned that to me personally, it's better to be independent. So I wanted to literally start an independent business, and that's what I did with HogOn Welding. And then I formed the hashtag welding and hip hop. So I did that because I wanted to use welding to finance my hip hop and to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Because it's therapy to me. So I wanted to do it, and I wanted to have my own videos, have my own music, have people listen to me because the world is big, and you never know who might like what you got going on. So I was like, hey, I want to do it anyway. And if you got enough people telling you, and enough people have told me, hey man, I like the way you sound, I like what you're doing, and I'm like, man, maybe I need to keep doing this because I got my own lane. And it's all about creating your own lane. So don't get caught up in trying to do what everybody else doing. Just do what you do when it comes to music. If you got something that you do that you like, do what you do and what you like, and keep getting your hog on. You know what I mean? So the experience that I had with Project Pat was great. The OG really taught me something. I learned a few valuable things from him, and I'm really blessed to actually have the opportunity. Even though I spent that money and it didn't go nowhere at that time, I still got that experience, and that's something that is very valuable. Hold on, like this.